everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Adoptions from the Heart TV. I'm your host, Amanda Aliberti. Today we're going to be sitting down with a birth mom who was parenting 3 children, triplets, at the time she was facing an unplanned pregnancy and chose adoption for her child.
Thank you so much, Raquel, for taking the time to come here and just kind of remind me a little bit about your whole story. Just kind of talk about, when you contacted us for the first time and kind of progressing from there to where we are today.
So good to see you too. So it's been a minute. So when I came to you in shambles, I had triplets who were almost 1, and so I immediately felt like if I would have kept my baby selfishly, because that's what I wanted to do, that was my instinct, that he would fall by the wayside. The triplets were already monopolizing like all my
all
time.
your time, yeah.
I think I was secretly going through postpartum at the time, so that was a struggle just with the triplets. And so that piece of sanity that I felt like I had in my mind, I wanted to make the best decision for Preston, because I wanted him to get everything that I couldn't give him.
Right.
And that was hard. That was a hard pill for me to swallow, because I was already a mom.
Yeah,
I had been a mom. I was a mom currently, and I had been a mom before when I lost my son in 2007. So being a mom is like second nature to me. So to accept the fact that I could not be that for him, I had to accept that first before I even called you guys.
For real, yeah.
And so that way I can be committed, because I didn't want to put everybody's feelings would be involved. The parents who want to be parents, mine. I didn't want to kind of play that game with them.
So you called us how far along in your pregnancy? Do you remember? Were you?
I was about 5 months.
Okay.
5 months pregnant.
Okay.
My due date was October 31st, which is my grandfather's birthday.
Halloween due date,
yes.
right?
Yes. I had the support of birthday at the time. So we went through that process kind of together. And I ended up having Preston actually on the day my first son passed away. So August 17th, 2007 is when my first son passed away, and that's also Preston's birthday. So that it was so many like weird anomalies involved that sparked a lot of emotions at that time for me. I actually ended up getting admitted into the hospital early. I had like a tear in my placenta, and nothing would stop it except birth. But I was early. I was only 7 months at the time, so they didn't want
you to
happen.
go.
No. Yep. So they kept me in the hospital, and that's where I met him and Keith. They kind of came to the hospital and met me. And I remember being asked, like, do you want to meet anybody else? And I didn't, because I had such good feelings from them. I didn't want to get that same feeling from another family and be like, oh my God, I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
So I just was like, nope, I'm just going to go with them. And it ended up being like the best decision for everybody.
Yeah.
They're my family. They treat me like family. I never felt like, the eyeball out, or like I was peeking in a tiny window into his life. She's always made me feel like I was a part of everything.
Look, I got goosebumps when you said that, because that's the way we want open adoption to feel. That's the way it should be. You should be an extension of their family, and they should feel like an extension of your family.
100%.
That's the way it should be.
She gave me room to breathe too. So like when I would step back and I would feel bad, and I would be like, it's not you. And I'm just trying to figure it out.
Those days too.
And she would reach back out to me like, that's not how we were writing letters at the time.
Yeah.
And then I think it was like 2014, 2015. I remember you reaching out like, hey, Kim called me.
Yeah.
And said she wanted to know if it was okay if I give her your number. And I was like, what? And from there, I get pictures all the time, phone calls all the time. I have access to Preston whenever I...
And you said, so your boys are 12, your triplets are 12, and Preston has come, and you've seen him recently. They came to a game?
They did. They came. So my triplets play football in the drum line. They play drums. And so they had a performance 5 minutes from their house.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they came, and they had a meet and greet, the kids. And immediately they were like, what can we do? Let's sleep over.
Oh, that's so cool.
What's your Fortnite name? Let me find you on Xbox. And so they communicate on the game.
That's cool.
And they have pictures of each other, and they talk about each other all the time.
Well, because if you have triplets, and then you have Preston, who's only a year younger than them. Yep. So they're almost like quads in a way.
In August. Yes. And he looks just like that. Like they look like quads. Like they were all standing next to each other. They look like they could be quads.
Yeah.
So it's just, I never expected when I made that decision. Because even after I made the decision, I was kind of on pins and needles. I remember you going over like my rights and saying like what they had to do and what was kind of like they didn't technically they only have to see you pictures twice a year, you know, things like that. And so for her to go surpass that and just kind of like bust through, like, forget the rules, we're gonna do whatever's comfortable for us. I never expected that.
And that was probably really amazing because you had a hard time. It's a really difficult decision, right? Especially because, like you said, you were already parenting, you know. But I can't imagine parenting triplets like that.
Oh,
you're just like a, you know, great. Because
people ask me all the time how I
know
get through
it's a lot.
I don't know.
It's probably not as bad now that they're like older, but like as babies, they were.
Count it out.
Something. Yeah, I think that, you know, it is a really difficult decision, but Kim and Keith allowing you to like be part of it probably helped tremendously.
It did.
And just like further on, like if he's gonna be 11, so you've had this 10 years of this relationship, right?
And they told him early when he started school, he was like 4 or 5, and they told him the story of me and what my, you know, how intricate I was and him being here, what my role is. And so I think, and then that's kind of the same age, but we didn't plan it that way. That was the same age I told the triplets about him. And so I think us telling them when they were younger, fast forward now that they're older, and they're finally, because I think the triplets were 12 now, they were 10 when they first met. But it wasn't so awkward and weird because they known about each other and seen pictures of each other all that time in between. Kim and Keith was sending Christmas presents for them. I remember recording my voice for a book for Preston.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It was like a bedtime story book. And so just keeping those ways of staying connected, even though we weren't seeing each other that often, I think played a major role in them already feeling connected, even though they never met.
That's cool. And so they met the first time 2 years ago then. Okay.
Yeah.
Pre-pandemic or right when the pandemic started, right?
Yeah,
so then they see each other like over this last little bit of time. That's great. That's awesome.
They just saw each other, so they met each other first, like, it was like almost the winter of 2019. And then they saw each other again the summer of 2021. Okay. And they had a competition at Six Flags.
Let me ask you one other thing. So Keith and Kim are Caucasian, correct?
Yes.
Yep. How did you feel about that?
So from the beginning, like when I was going through their profile pictures, their family seemed very versatile. Like the pictures, it seemed very versatile. Kim and Keith both just came off very multicultural. It didn't seem it was going to be one-dimensional, or as if he was going to feel isolated or not a part of his family because he had a different skin tone. So, and they also adopted a baby.
Did they?
Yes, a daughter. He has a sister.
Nice. Okay.
She is 2, about to be 3 now. Okay. And she's also African American. So him not being the only African American child in his household, and also having African American family members that's in their family. I think Kim has an adopted brother who's African American. He has African American children. And so, you know, his wife.
And they're in the Philly area too, right?
Yes, they're Bucks County.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're only like 4 hours away from me. And they always are accommodating to me. You know, they're like, if you can't come to us, we'll always come to you. We can meet halfway. Like,
so have you had any struggles associated with the fact that your son's in a transracial adoption? No?
Not at all.
Even through this awfulness of the world and the racism and things that have been going on, like, over the last couple of years?
Kim used to say that when people would see her with Preston when he was a baby, because he was so light toned at the time, they would say, "Is he Italian?" And she would like kind of be offended. Like, no.
She was offended.
Yes.
Okay.
No, my baby is African American. You have a problem? Like, is there an issue? Like, this is
I love that strong will, though. Like, she had that strong.
Yeah. So I have no doubt that she's gonna make sure that he is strong enough to face what he's gonna have to face as a black man in this current climate. I'm cautiously optimistic that when they all get grown, that we have made some sort of progress.
Oh, I hope so.
In the world.
Yes.
In the event we have not, I'm confident that she's gonna have his back no matter what, and make sure that he's strong enough to face this ugly world, because he has such a pure spirit about him that I also know she's gonna make sure he's strong enough to face what's broken out here.
Right. That's awesome. Well, thank you.
I'm not worried about that at all. I'm not.
Good.
I wasn't when I met them. I just kind of, I go off of like energies. And so my energy when I met them,
you just knew.
I just knew. Which is probably why I didn't want to meet anyone else.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of confused me.
Yeah. I say there's always that connection, and sometimes it's not something that you can explain with words. It's just a feeling. It's something, like you said, energy. It's something that just connects you. And you just know. Good juju.
Yes.
That's right.
They had good juju all
But you
around
just
them.
know. You just knew that they were right. They were meant to be his parents, right?
They were. And I just loved their story.
Yeah.
They wanted to be parents so bad. And just kept pulling short sticks, you know? Even though it was only 2 months from the time I picked them to the time I ended up giving birth, unexpectedly. We had to build a bond through that time. They were coming to my appointments, and so I was all in. No matter how it was making me feel in real time, I knew, I was thinking about the long game.
Yeah. And he's doing great.
He's thriving.
Yeah.
The triplets are thriving.
That's
and
right.
So I couldn't ask for more as far as us being able to kind of like him be with his family, like them being able to give him what I felt like I couldn't at the time and probably still can't, because the triplets, the older they get, they still monopolize my time. I have no time for myself. Football, I never thought I would be a football mom.
Yeah.
And so how we're able to live separate lives but still come together and just be this one big family. She made my broom for my wedding, and I'm gonna jump over. Like
That's awesome.
We text
That's
all the
so
time. Great. She's sending me photos or little projects that Preston did in school. It's just, I would have never thought it would be what it is.
And I hope for everybody that everybody has that, because that is what it's supposed to be.
And
that's an awesome relationship. And will continue on forever. Yeah, that's good. You are in such a great place, Raquel. Thank you so much for coming in and chatting with us.
Anytime.
Thank you so much, Raquel, for sharing your story and your journey with open adoption. Thanks so much, guys, and tune in next week.